the computer. Perfect. We're recorded. But today, guys, let's really focus on leaning in. Let's bring some energy on the chat. Let's really light up this chat. And here's the reason why, guys. Well, two things. The first thing is, guys, we're 30 days away from our international convention that's happening in Houston, Texas, May 23rd, 24th, and 25th. I don't care if you're in Colombia. I don't care if you're in Puerto Rico. I know my boy Vic just got on the call right now from Puerto Rico, right? Big shout out to Victor. He made $500 on TNT just today and yesterday. $500 on his real account. Shout out to you, Vic. I know you just tuned in here. I don't care if you're in Puerto Rico. I don't care if you're in Colombia. I don't care if you're in New Jersey. I don't care if you're in Detroit. Get to Houston May 23rd, 24th, 25th. Put those dates aside. Get your convention ticket. Guys, we're going to have our education day that's happening on Friday where the educators are going to be teaching live. It's going to be a full day completely, right, dedicated to our TNT financial literacy education. And then Saturday and Sunday, we have our live convention where the diamonds, the double diamonds, the diamond elites, the triple diamonds, the global diamonds are going to be speaking on stage. I cannot emphasize how important it is to really be at this convention happening May 23rd, 24th, 25th. You can go on your back office. You can go in your account. You can purchase a ticket right now. I believe it's $97. I'm not exactly sure 1,000%, but I know that for those 3 days, guys, I've been in the industry for over 7 years. These convention tickets are usually about $500, right? So the fact that it's $97 right now, it's an absolute steal. It's a promotion. You guys can get it right now, right? We're going to be having our live convention happening on these dates. And I couldn't be more excited. I couldn't be more fired up. I know what's about to take place coming out of this convention, right? I know what these conventions do for your belief. I know what they do for your activity. But more importantly, I think for everybody here on this call, I know what they do for your paychecks, right? People literally come out 30 days out of convention becoming six-figure earners because not only have they decided to be at a convention, they decided to bring everybody they know, everybody that's in their downline, everybody that's a customer, everybody that's a visionary builder, everybody that's in their team, even prospects to a convention. I've had prospects go to a convention and be like, Anthony, this has been the most life-changing thing. This has been the most life-changing experience, right? There's no way I can thank you more of it. They get involved and they absolutely take off in the business. So guys, in Houston, Texas, you can't afford to miss out on this event. It's going to be more expensive on you for you not to go, right, than you to make the sacrifice and be like, hey man, I know it's a little bit out of line right now. I know things aren't the best right now. I know my circumstances aren't the best, but I'm going to make a decision to be at this event because I know what it's going to do for my future. I know what it's going to do for my why. I know what it's going to do for my style of living, right? If you have big goals, big dreams, big inspirations, guys, I'm telling you, I don't just promote, I build my business off of events. If events weren't in the picture, this would just all be a dream. It's events that build character. It's events that build, right, vision. It's events that build belief, right? So it's not just about you being there. I know we got Diamond here, just went lead 500. I know we got Joel, just went lead 500. I know we got Stephanie on here, just went lead 200, right? I know we got Josephine, just went lead 500. So we got champions about to break. So here are the two things I'd be focusing on right now. You want to write this down, especially if you're on the way to going team 200, lead 500. These are the two things I'd be focusing on right now. On going champion, and then registering, confirming as many people as you can, right, for this convention, right? Everybody, I'd be on the phone. Hey, do you have a ticket? Hey, do you have a ticket? Hey, meet me in Houston. Meet me in Houston. I remember David telling me, I talk about this testimony a lot, but he told me, Anthony, if you want to become a six-figure earner, I was earning $5,000 a month, right, at the time. I was never made six figures in the industry. This was probably 4, 5, 6 years ago, right? The next convention was London. I got on the phone with David. He's like, Ant, if you want to become a six-figure earner, you got to bring 100 people to this convention. Now, the convention was in London, so people needed passports, right? People needed to get expensive flight tickets, right? People needed to buy a convention ticket that was worth $500, right? So it's a whole lot different than what we're talking about right here in Houston, Texas for $97, right? But my belief is I'm making $5,000 a month. I'm going to go earn $10,000 a month. At that time, the rank was chairman 10, right? I brought 100 people to that event, right? Brought 100 people to London, right? 30 days out of the event, I went chairman 10. I went and hit $10,000 a month coming out of that convention, right? Because I understand what God is able to do through people at that event, help them understand, right, why they're placed on this earth, why this business model is so important, and why they can be used, right, by God to go out there and really make a big impact in the lives of other people, right? Got 100 people to that event, boom, business took off, went absolutely nuts. And ever since then it was straight history, right? But I was lenient on listening to my mentor. What I'm telling you right now is for your good. What I'm telling you right now is for your success. What I'm telling you right now is for you to not just hear what I'm saying, but do, right? Do. Don't just be hearers, but be doers of the instructions, be doers of the word, and you'll start to see God move a lot more miraculously, right, in your life by being obedient. But I really want to dive into today's call. I got some good meat, some good stuff, some good information that's going to really transform, right, your life, that's going to really transform your perspective. And I'm ready to go into it. But before we do go into it, let's continue to promote this call, right? I just felt like I wanted to come on here, really bring a strong emphasis on our company convention. But I got my live shot. It's actually, I think, the last shot of the bottle. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? Dang, this thing looks saucy, man. But I'm excited. If you don't have your live, go get your live. Joel, you're making some money now, bro. You're getting some checks coming in on those residuals, man. Reinvest into sampling, right? Steph, you got some money coming in, right? Sebas, you're one away from Team 200. We got to knock that out. I know we're going to jump on the Zoom after this, but listen, big cheers. We're going to see a whole lot of champions. Let's close out. Let's close out April strong. Let's close out at 18 people. I know at least 10. I'm not going to say all 18, but at least 10 people can go champion. 10 people. Here's some things I'm going to talk about here on this call. I want to do a toast, but before we do the good, I give you the good news. I got to talk about the bad news. It's not really bad news, but what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to lay down for the next 8 days of this month? We got 8 days left. What are you willing to say, hey, in order for me to get this, I need to leave behind this. In order for me to receive this, I've got to surrender this. I want you on your notes. I want you to write that down. What's that one thing? This is the one thing I'm going to let go of. This is the one thing I'm going to surrender. This is the one thing I'm going to sacrifice, right? Because in order for there's something needs to be sacrificed in order for you to get the prize, in order for you to receive the goal, right? What's that one thing? Here's what better said. Here's what's better said. What's that one thing that's holding you back? What's holding you back from reaching that goal? What's holding you back from going champion? I want you to write it down. Don't write it in the chat box. I want you to write it down on your paper. But let's do it. Let's do a big cheers to your champion, because I believe this is a look. We're already close to 23. We're 4 people away. I believe we can do it. Continue to promote. If you see somebody on your team that's not on here, right? 23 is a number of champions. Michael Jordan rocked it in his back. LeBron James rocked it in his back. It's just a number of champions, man. You want to become a champion, right? 23. Hey, 23 people, you go champion too. So big cheers to the 10 champions. Let's rock and roll. As I take this shot, I want you to drop some money signs if you've been making money with the TNT app. This is some good stuff. Because TNT is bussing. This alive is way more bussing. Only JT's making money. Who's making money with TNT? This is how I know y'all not using this. This is how I know y'all not. Oh my God. Who's making money with TNT? Who's making some money? with TNT. I know Vic, I know you making money, bro. I know you making money. I saw that. I saw the 500 on that trading account, right? Who's making money? Drop some money signs. Look, the fact that there's not a lot of money signs, that's listen, you need to go fund your account, man. You need to stop playing some games. You need to go fund your account, text me, and we need to get your account funded because too many people are making money. And there's no reason why you should not be making money with the TNT, right? And our live 9 a.m. trade sessions. Money's right there. It's just been about I told Vic, right? Big shout out to Vic. He's been rocking with me since a while now. I said, look, just just 90 days. Just follow this. Not 90 days. 90 days. After 90 days, we relocate, we restructure, follow this game plan. 9 a.m. trade sessions, visionary trades on the app, Jonathan T on the app, Richard Hall on the app. Follow that trading plan. 90 days. Everybody here we should be blowing up the chats when everybody's making profits. It shouldn't just be, hey, I'm going to be jumping on, right? No, I'm going to use it to build my business, but I'm also going to be a product of the product. You know why? Because I'm trading on it. When I talk to a prospect, I say, you can't tell me anything. Look at our results. Hey, you can't tell me anything about the Alive. I look sexy. I know I look sexy. I know I've lost weight. I know I've lost 25 pounds. I know I've been doing my part and being consistent on taking the product. So when I talk to somebody about Alive, I'm operating off of a testimony. I'm operating out of, I know this is going to make a difference in your life. I know TNT is going to bless your life. Use it. You're paying for it, right? Get on the product. Take the trades, right? If you're not taking the trades, you're missing out on dough. You're missing out on cheese. You're missing out on money. Guys, this is absolutely life-changing for what we have. And I haven't even gone in. You guys can tell what the Alive does for you. It has maca root, so it gives you energy. So I know what the ingredients are. So I can, hey, you want more natural energy? Don't take a Red Bull. I was in church. Somebody was sipping on a Red Bull at 9 a.m. I said, dude, what are you doing, bro? Like, Red Bull at 9 a.m.? Taking a live shot. It has maca root. It's going to give you energy. That Red Bull is going to put death into you. Look at the ingredients. Search it up. See how bad, unhealthy it is for you. And he's like, oh, I take like, 2 Red Bulls a day. I'm like, dude, we need to get you on some Alive. Guess what? He bought some Alive, sampled out some product. Now he wants to buy some Alive. And that's what the power of sampling does. And guess what? Bottle's done. So I'm about to buy a new bottle. But all right, guys, took my shots in, promoted convention, right? 10 champions. I believe, drop the number 10, right? Drop the number 10 in the chat if you want to become one of those 10 champions. No, if you are one of those 10 champions, right? Drop the number 10 in the chat if you are one of those 10 champions. If you're one of those 10 that are going to, don't drop it in the chat if you're not going to go champion. If you're truly dedicated on going champion, right? Drop the number 10 in the chat. Today's training is going to be specifically for you. I want to help you go crush champion, right? At the end of the month. But it's going to really take commitment and consistency, but it's also going to take sacrifice. It's also going to take letting go, right? What are you worth willing to surrender? What are you worth willing to put aside for you to hit the level of champion, for you to generate another $1,000 a month? Guys, this can make a huge difference in your life. I know it's only 1,000, but here's the truth of the matter. Champion is not even step one, diamond step one, but champion is the formula. It's the blueprint. Once you go champion, you can teach somebody. You cannot attract champions in your business unless you go champion. So that's why the fight is actually 0 to champion. It's 0 to champion. Once you go champion, you can say, hey, this is the game plan. This is the blueprint. This is what I did to go champion, right? This is what I did, right? You can't reproduce unless you've produced, right? You need to first produce champion in your life so you can reproduce other champions in your organization. That's what leadership is. Leadership is all about, hey, I'm going to go lead the ship first. I'm going to go there first so I can help other people reach it. I can help other people go champion. So that's why these next 8 days, really 7 days, these next 7 days are critical. I was on the phone with Joel earlier. I said, man, these next 7 days are all in, right? This is what's going to set you up for convention, right? What are you going to do these next 7 days? How's your life going to look like? How's your system going to look like? Write this down. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. What's the system in your daily operation? How many people are you exposing? David says, Ant, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day. I'm always trying to get something new out of David, and he always gives me the same word. Sometimes we're always looking for a new word from God, and God's giving you the same word that you haven't obeyed yet. We're looking for, God, I need a new word. I need a new vision. Well, have you gone back to the last word I've given you, and have you applied it? Have you obeyed? Have you done it? Right? Have you gone out there and applied the information? That's what wisdom is. Wisdom is not about having all the different knowledge. No, it's about the knowledge that's applied, right? It's what you do with it, right? So I felt like this today for today's call. I titled this message, this training, however you want to call it. I titled it Champions Are Built in Secret. Right? If you guys haven't turned your cameras on, that's the first teachable and coachable assignment of this call. The second one is, hey, we want to create some culture here. Lean into the chat box. Lean into the chat box. Lean into the chat box. Bring energy into the chat. And we want to create a culture where it's easier. If it's myself, if it's Ryan, if it's Joel, if it's Josephine, if we're on a call, right? It's easier. You're making it easier for us to teach. You're making it easier for us to train. You're making it easier for us to be fired up, right? That's the intention of being. It's not for our pride. It's not for our ego. No, it's out of honor, right? Be excited on the chat. Put your camera on. Turn your cameras on. How many people has cameras on? Still, some people have put their cameras on. First assignment: put your camera on. Teachable and coachable. That's how I know you're taking notes. That's how I know you're tuned in. And all this information is not just going by your head. You're actually saying, hey, I'm going to turn my camera on because I want to honor you, mentor. I want to honor you, leader. I want to honor the time that you're taking for this call and say, hey, I'm tapped in all the way, right? That's just what it takes. Hey, that's what it takes. You applying that small task helps me understand everything I'm going to give you on this call, everything I'm going to teach, the whole entire Blueprint for Champion. You're going to actually go out there and apply it right coming out of this call, right? We're almost here at 23. Keep pushing. We're going to hit 23 on this call. I'm telling you, we're going to do it, right? So the title of this call, the title of today's training, Champions Are Built in Secret. How many do you guys know what God does in public, what God promotes in public, always starts in private? You see, when God works in our life, it's the deepest things, right? When they occur, when they happen, the deepest celebrations, when you get celebrated as a champion, right? When you get celebrated as Elite 500, when you get celebrated as Sapphire, the deepest things will not happen on stages. The deepest things won't happen on the Telegram chat. It'll always happen in the secret place. What do I mean by that? Here's what I want you to write down. It's always going to happen when no one's looking. I'll say that again. When God works in our life, when he brings about the promotion, when he brings about the celebration, right? What I'm saying is it's not when we're being celebrated. It's actually when we're in our secret place. So what are you trying to say, Ant? What I'm trying to say is you always need to stay in a posture of being ready. I need to be I'm waking up. I need to be ready to expose 5 people. I need to be ready to lead. I need to be ready to expose. I need to be ready to sample. I need to stay in a posture of being ready, right? But I also understand sometimes it's hard to be operating in purpose because guess what? Sometimes it seems like no one is seeing me. Sometimes I was talking to a leader today. I'm not going to say his name, but he's like, man, it's just so hard because I'm facing rejection. Sometimes it's hard because we're facing rejection. And I feel like I'm overlooked. I feel like this is not working. I feel like these people don't believe me. But the truth of the matter is that you don't need an applause. What you need to know is that what you're doing actually matters. When God builds you, he builds you in secret. When God is building you, he's building you when no one is looking. So I have a question for you tonight. What are you doing when no one's looking? What's your system? We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. We don't rise to the level of what we want to accomplish. We fall to our daily method of operations. What are we doing when no one is looking? You know why? Because before there was ever a miracle, there was a wilderness. People had to walk into the wilderness before they got to the promised land. Here's a better one. Before there even was a resurrection, we just came out of resurrection weekend, Easter weekend. There was a tomb. There was a tomb before there was a resurrection. Before you're celebrated, there is this word that we live in that is called process. Everybody drop the word process on the chat box. There's a process. There's a process. There's a process. There's a process that needs to happen. There's a process we have to go. There's a process where there's nobody on our team. There's a process when we got two. But here this is not in my training tonight, but the Holy Spirit just put this in me. There's a process. There's a process. So what are you going to do when you have two people on your team? Because if you can't steward what God's already given you, how can he trust you with more? How can he trust you with a team of 200 people if you can't steward two? How can he steward you with champion if you can't steward one? There's a process. What are you doing when no one's looking? There's a process. What are you doing in the secret place? There's a process. What are you doing in private? Are you showing up 1 out of the 7 days a week? Or are you showing 5 a day? Write that in the chat box. 5 a day. I want you to commit 5 a day. Meaning 5 people. Today, tomorrow, the next. I want you to commit to 5 a day. That's the process. That's the private. We're going to go into that in just a little bit, but I just want to use a great example here. And it's actually one of my favorite books in the Bible. It's in the Old Testament, but Joshua, right? He was the aide, the assistant, the servant of Moses, right? He was the aide of Moses. He was the assistant of Moses. And his focus for so many years, for 40 years actually, before he died, because Moses died at 120 years old, got called at 80. That's another word for another day. How long are you willing to wait for God to call you? Moses was 80 years old. 80 years. 80 years. They ain't going to take you 80 years to go champion, but come on. All right, 80 years. For 40 years, Joshua was the one that was assigned to serve Moses. And before Moses led people, he serves a leader. Before he was able to lead thousands of people, he focused on serving. And I was reading this scripture the other day. I'm going to pull it up. I was going to read it from here, but I'm going to read it to you guys. But also pull up the screen. Joshua 1. Let's put drop some ones if you guys see my screen. I don't think you guys should see it yet. I'm just moving this over. Sorry, I did not have this set up. NIV. Oh, I'm sorry. NIV. All right, I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. I want you to see this because this is critical here. All right. So I'm gonna read off Joshua 1 real quick. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord said to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' aide, Moses, my servant is dead. Now then, you and all these people get ready to cross the Jordan River into the land I am about to give them to the Israelites. Here it is. I will give you every place where you set your foot as I promised. Let me just pause right there. I want you to write this down. I will give you every place where you set your foot, as I promised to Moses. I don't know if you guys caught that, but every place you put your foot down, God promises, I will give you the land. So the promise from God is, I got something for you, but the command is, you've got to be willing to put your foot down. Are you willing to take the step? Are you willing to expose 5 people? Are you willing to share the plan, expose the plan to 5 people a day? What's beautiful about this is God says, in the same way I was there for Moses, I will be right there for you. Meaning he's going to be there for you. You've just got to, you see, that's how faith works, right? Some of us, right, think our faith isn't working. Well, maybe it isn't that our faith isn't working. Maybe it's that our feet aren't wet. Our feet aren't taking steps, right? Some of us are spelling faith wrong, right? We think, man, faith is about, receiving. Faith is about believing. Yes, that's part of it. But the only way to get to the other side, the only way to get to the promised land, right? The only way to get there is you have to get wet. You have to put your foot in. You have to take a step. You have to take a step. You have to take a step. That's what you have to do. Your faith works, right? But the problem is you don't take risks. I've got to take a risk to prospect that person. I've got to take a risk to pump my gas, but then in the next pump, prospect the person that's in the pump ahead of me. When you step out in faith, that's what faith is all about. It's stepping out. It's stepping out of your comfort zone. It's taking the step. Guys, Joshua had to take a step. He commanded Joshua to say, hey, you've got to be willing to put your foot down. It's our job to get vision, but it's also our job to step out in our steps. In the areas of our life that you don't put your foot down, here's what you're going to get. You will just get what you allow. The reason why they wandered for 40 years is because they accepted complaining. Right? That's the reason why they wandered but when you put your foot down, guess what? God's able to move. God's able to put the right person in front of you. God's able to put the right leader in front of you. Because that's what faith is. Faith is about taking the risk to messaging that person, taking the risk, right, to prospecting that person. But all those things, they're developed in the secret place. It's in the private place. It's about doing something purposeful. It's always going to require us to put our foot down and act in faith, just like the way God commanded Moses, just like the way that God commanded Joshua, right? So I want to run you guys here quickly through 3 observations, right? 3 observations of being built in the secret place, being built when nobody's looking. Nobody's looking. What are you doing when nobody's looking? First observation, you're not the builder, you're the brick. You're not the builder, you're the brick. You see, when God wants to get on something, there's nothing that can stop what God has started, right? We're all building, but you got to understand one thing. We're not the builder. When Jesus said to Peter, hey, I will build my church, right, through you. So in other words, he's going to use us. We're not the builder. We're the brick. Nothing rises on our gifting. It rises on our sacrifice. Our job is to show up. Our job is to stay aligned and let God lay us where he wants us. I'm gonna let God lay me right where He wants us. We're not the blueprint, we're the instrument. I'm the vessel. That's the culture, that's the language, right? Before I'm the leader, I'm the servant. I'm not in wandering, I'm in training, right? When you build a house, right? When you're building a house of bricks, right? What you need to understand is when you're building that house, a brick is being laid down. So if you're the brick, what is that you need to lay down? But when you lay down the brick, guess what the brick does? The brick also holds somebody else up. It holds another brick up. So before you know it, all the bricks create the foundation. All the bricks create the house. I want you to get this analogy because what the brick is if I'm building a brick needs to be laid down. And then when I lay down the other brick, it's actually holding up the other brick. So what does a brick do? A brick is I'm going to lay myself down. I'm going to surrender. I'm going to sacrifice. What are the things that need to be out of my life? What are the things that are distracting me? What are the things that are not instrumental for my success? You're a brick. As funny as it sounds, but here's another thing. As a leader, as a brick, you're also building. You're also holding. You're holding up somebody else. And if you're not doing both of those things all the time, then you're not setting the example of what it looks like, of what it takes to build a successful house, to build a successful business, to build a successful organization. I've got to lay myself down. When I'm laying myself down, I'm also able to hold somebody else up, to build somebody else up. Right? I'm a brick. I'm a brick. I'm not the builder. God is the builder. God is the builder. I'm just a brick. I'm being used by God. I'm an instrument to being used by God. Number two, as we're going into number two, listen, it doesn't matter if you're building. It doesn't matter if you're giving it all you've got. If the inside is empty, you will not last. This is a big one right here. Write it down. Number two, private devotion fuels public power. If the inside of you isn't connected to God, nothing's going to matter. If the inside of you is not deposited with personal development, write this down. You will not last. Everybody who wants celebration, everybody who wants to go champion, everybody who wants public power, but they never learned how to steward it privately. It's what we do when no one's looking. That's when we get the power. It's what we do when we spend time with God. That's when we get the power. It's what we do when we're driving. Are we listening to music or are we listening to personal development? It's what we do when we're cooking. When we're cooking, are we complaining or are we saying our affirmations? If you look at Joshua in Exodus, when Moses was still around, I love this because something that Joshua did is he always looked to listen to the voice of God. He always listened to sought. He sought for the voice of God. He wanted to hear the voice of God. He wanted to be filled up. So when Moses was out there, he actually stayed in the tent to be in God's presence, to pray, to worship, to call out on the name of God. It's what we do in the secret place. It's what Joshua did in the secret place that built him up as a leader. So when Moses was not around anymore, when he wasn't around, when he was alive, God entrusted somebody else. How could God entrust you if you're feeling empty? If there's nothing on the inside, if you're not looking to transform your mind? Don't be conformed to the pattern of this world. Don't be like everybody else. Don't be like the masses, but be transformed by the renewing. Write this down. Are you renewing your mind? Or are you thinking like everybody else? Or are you thinking like the masses? Are you thinking like everybody else? You need to start thinking like diamonds. You need to start doing personal development like a diamond. What Joshua did is he led from an internal strength and not an external strength. Most of us want to lean on an external strength. No, I've got to lean on an internal strength. You know why? Because leadership without intimacy always leads to misery. If there's no intimacy, listen, if there's no personal growth, listen, if there's no renewing of your mind, or here, if there's no Holy Spirit, there's misery. Are y'all with me? It's the devotion in your life. Devotion is not getting the devote. No, it's building yourself up. It's building your character. It's building your mindset. It's building your strength. It's building your stamina. That's why Jesus said, when you get weary, I will give you rest. There's nothing that gives you only get power when you're rested. You don't get power off of anything else. He's the one that gives us the strength. He's the one that gives us the power. He's the one that gives us the wisdom. I'm tired of this worldly wisdom. That thing don't make sense. I need some power that's gonna build me, that's gonna strengthen me, that's gonna get me to go. Right? That's the only thing I can get from the secret place, from taking time aside. And I'm gonna take time aside to be with God. I'm gonna take time aside to have personal growth. I'm gonna take time aside to write my affirmations, to write my goals, to express my gratitude. The other day, I was going through my day and I'm like, man, I'm not feeling like at 100%. I remember I missed out on one thing and it was just expressing gratitude. I texted 3 people. Hey man, I'm so grateful for that act that you did the other day. One of our lead pastors at VU, his name's Joshua Clouden, showed up to the event. He wasn't, he's a part of the org, but he leads a whole entire location. And God put it in my heart. Hey, text him and thank him for coming to the event. And it's those acts of gratitude. It's those acts of gratitude that God sees. God sees and he blesses it. He blesses it. But here's another thing that our private time does. It's in our private time, it's in our private devotion that our cracks are exposed. It's in our when we're doing personal development, our cracks are exposed. And if we don't fix those cracks, those cracks in our character will create pain in the people that we lead. So in reality, instead of wishing for champion, instead of praying for champion, let me pray, God, build my character. Fix these cracks in my leadership. If we don't deal with the cracks in our life, it'll bleed out to our team. So it's important. Hey, I've got to build that character now. I've got to set the system now. And if you're hiding from it, if you're hiding from those cracks, don't be expected to be trusted by God. Don't be expected to hit champion. Don't be expected to hit your goals because you're avoiding something that is expected by God, because He's our provider. He's the one that created all things. Colossians 1:6, He's created all things. He's the creator of all things. He's the creator of your goals. He's the creator of you. He's the one that owns your body. He's the creator of all. Right? So remember the first 2 things. Number 1, first observation, you're not the builder, you're the brick. Observation number 2 is private devotion. It fuels public power. But then number 3, this is my favorite one. God never forgets what the room never sees. if there's a scripture you ever want to memorize, I feel called to just give you this one. It's Hebrews 6:10. God is not unjust and will not forget your work and the love you have shown for him. Like, if you're ever just having a bad day, if you ever feel like, yo, God, give me some grace, Hebrews 6:10, God is not unjust. I hope this just builds you. Like, I hope it builds your faith, but I hope it builds your hope. You're hoping God to understand that he's not unjust. He will not forget the work that you did. He will not forget the seeds that you planted. He sees it all. He remembers it all. One day he's going to reward you for it. Our job is like Joshua. I've got to stay focused on obeying instructions. I've got to be focused on being teachable and coachable. I've got to be focused on taking massive action. Drop massive action on the chat box. I've got to be focused on dropping massive action. Sowing, towing, tending, toiling the land. I've got to take massive action. Massive action, exposing, having people see the presentation. Hey, guess what? If you're not interested, so what next? Some will, some won't. So what next? Some will, some won't. So what next? I'm on to the next. I can't just stop when somebody tells me no. I can't just stop when somebody no. I got too many more people to talk to. It's a perspective shift. It's a mind shift, right? You're not wasting, you got to understand, you're never wasting time. When you get a no, you're not wasting time. When you face rejection, you're not wasting time because God rewards it. God is an on time God. Your private obedience is what holds up your public celebration. It's your private obedience. It's your private obedience. It's what you do when no one's looking. It's what you do when the room never sees. But guess what? God never forgets. He never forgets. So before we're wrapping up here, I want to touch up on some things because I think it's very, very important. I have a question for you. At what time did we start? I think we started at 10:10. But here's a question that I want to leave you guys with 10 points. But the question I have is, are you growing in excellence? Are you growing in excellence? I was at chapel the other day and they pulled up the scripture. And I think it just hits home. You can save this one as well. But Daniel was in the Old Testament. He was a prophet. And in this passage, the kings were actually, they saw something in Daniel, right? And I want you to see this because it says a lot about his character. And if there's anybody you want to emulate, if you want, here's a better word, here's a better saying. If there's anybody you want to be like, it's him. How do you want to how do you want other people to distinguish you? Right? Read this. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 satraps to be throughout the whole kingdom, and over them 3 high officials, of whom Daniel was one, to whom these satraps should give account, so that the king might not suffer any loss. Then Daniel, here it is. Then this Daniel became distinguished above all the other high officials and satraps because, here it is, an excellent spirit was in him. And the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. Then the high officials and the satraps sought to find a ground for complaint against Daniel with regard to the kingdom, but they could find no ground for complaint. That's another one. An excellent spirit, and they found no complaint towards him. If your mentor were to see what you're doing in private, could he find anything to complain about? If I had a camera and I can just see your daily activity, and this is probably going to hit some of you guys, and you're telling me I want to go champion, but there's a hidden camera and I can see your daily activity, is it going to add up to what you're telling your mentor? Here's why I say this. Look at Daniel. And the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom. Then the high officials and satraps they tried to find a ground for complaint. They tried to find something to be like, oh, I'm not going to set this guy as king. But they could find no ground for complaint or any fault. Here it is, because he was faithful. And no error or fault was found in him. What if I were to tell you, what if the word for today was, because you're fair, because you're faithful, there can be no error or fault found in you. Because you're faithful. I'm faithful to the blueprint. I'm faithful to God. Every day, God, I want to be faithful to you. I know if I'm faithful to you, there'll be no sin because there's no sin in you. So when I'm faithful to you, he takes away the sin. I have no desire to sin. I love what he loves. I hate what he hates. Same thing for the business. If you're found faithful, that's why David says, diamond step one. It's only step one. Where could your mind go? Where could your mind go if you can just believe diamond is step one? It's just step $10,000 a month. What would you do every day for you to just diamond step one? It's only step one. If everybody here for the next 30 days, sponsored one person, 16 times 30, that's 480 people in our organization. What if you taught that to your team? What if you just taught everybody to get to? Steph was in that training. Diamond was in that training, right? That was everybody, just teach everybody to get to. Here's one of the greatest techniques I'm going to give you guys right now. When you sign someone up, they go on a 9 a.m. live trade session. All right. They're within the moment they sign up on that trade session. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you get to sign up right now. By 9 a.m. Thursday, they should be set up with their demo or live account. And they're going to jump on that session. And on Thursday, when they make a profit, you're going to call them and say, hey, do you know 2 people that can do exactly what you just did? So this is happening at 10 a.m. Put them on the phone with me right now. We're going to show them what you just did to make $20. Oh, 2 people come into the business. Do the same exact thing. You help them get set up with the broker, either demo or live, have them go through the 15 videos. Boom, they go through the 15 videos. Visionary Trade sends a trade on the app. You personally, I'm going in depth. I'm giving you practicalities to build a massive business. If you do this, it'll work. If you don't do it, you will be found with fault or error to not align yourself to become a champion. I want you to get this. Boom, they come into your business, bang. Visionary Trade just sent a trade. Did you take the trade? I didn't take it. Oh, no good. No worries. The next trade, just make sure you take it. Look, everybody's making money on the chat. Why aren't you taking the trade? Next trade comes in. Hey, did you take it? Yes, I just made money. Hey, who are 2 people that you know? If you just teach everybody to get 2, you see there is 19 people on this call. It's 15 now. Not everybody's going to want to go champion. You just need to know you've got to be faithful. You've got to be obedient. You've got to develop the system, the routine, and the secret place to be filled up with the strength, to be filled up with everything so you can go out and you can be used by God. This is a secret to building the business. This is the spiritual that creates the physical. It's the spiritual that creates the physical. Most people have it flipped. Physical, 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 work, 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 skill, skill, skill. That thing don't work. Don't work. If you don't got it down packed in the spiritual, physical ain't gonna be created. It ain't. You're wasting your time. Wasting your time. Right? I got lost off track. But point is, right? If you do that, if you work with urgency, right? If you work with launching, have a launcher's mentality. If somebody's in your business for 20 days and they haven't seen any type of demo result at least, this is all I'm going to say. You got to go back to what you're doing in private. You get what I'm saying? You just got to go back to what you're doing in private. If you've been in the business for 30 days or less, for 30 days or less, and you're not on a demo or live account trading on these, you got to go back to the private. Got to go back to the private. Got to go back to the private. What are you doing in private? What are you doing in the secret place? Go back to your why. Go back to writing down what your reason why is. Go back to working on yourself before you even work on anything else. Not just the business, before you work on anything else. Before you work on anything else. Before you work on anything else. Right? So leading off here, I want to give you guys, right, 10 practical points on how you're going to set yourself up to win. I'm going to go through these quickly, so I want you to write them down. It's just 10, but they're very good. Number one, get a vision. Get a vision. Number one, get a vision. Get a vision. Get a vision. Get a vision. Here's a good one. What's your vision for convention? You probably don't even have a vision because you don't have your ticket. Once you get your ticket, now you can have vision. You guys, does that make sense? You can't have a vision for something you don't have. You can't have a vision for something that you know you're not. I don't know what. No, you got to have the ticket. Now, I have vision. Get a vision for convention. Where are you going to be? Number two, make a decision. Make a decision that you're going to have no excuses. Make a decision that you're going to be all in. Make a decision. Make a decision. Number three, this is a really good one. Imitate the best. What do diamonds do? I'm going to imitate them. Paul said it best, imitate Christ. I want to become more like Christ. I've got to imitate him. I want to become a diamond. I've got to imitate a diamond. I'm not going to worship a diamond. I'm going to imitate. What do they do? How do they talk? How many times do they show the plan? I've got to imitate their system. I've got to imitate their routine. I've got to imitate their work ethic. I've got to imitate, here's a good one, their perseverance. I've got to imitate their perseverance, right? Number four, build a routine. Build a routine, build a routine, build a routine. Number five, consistency trumps intensity. Can you be consistent? 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 Consistency trumps intensity. It's a consistency that builds champions. Number six, here's a great one. Prime your environment. Who are you around? Who are you with? Who are you talking to every day? How does your environment look like? Is it conducive to your success? Or is it sucking you? If it's sucking you out, if it's tearing you down, you've got to put yourself in an environment for success. You've got to go have a coffee at the Four Seasons. You got to go to places where the energy's high. I was driving from I did a workout with some girl in my college class. We went to go do a workout in Coconut Grove. And after we finished the workout, I was driving back home and I passed by the skyline of downtown. And I was like, man, I need to come here more often because the energy is different. I live in Fort Lauderdale. I'm not often in Miami, but I was just, man, like, I was like, man, I need to be around here more. I can feel the vibrations. I can feel the energy. I can feel the success. I need to put myself around that environment because I don't know, I'll start to attract higher quality people into my business. Right? Does that make sense? Put a yes in the chat if that makes sense. Number 7, request feedback. I've got to request feedback. Here's another word for that. I've got to communicate to my mentor every day. What do I have to do to go champion? What can I do better? Do you see any strengths? Do you see any weaknesses? How can I become a champion? I've got to request feedback. I've got to be in communication, requesting feedback. What do I have to do to go to the next level? Right? I've got to be in communication. Here's number 8, develop thick skin. Develop thick skin in the game. Something I got is thick skin. Somebody leaving ain't gonna move me. Somebody quitting ain't gonna move me. Somebody saying they're gonna get started on Friday and they don't, ain't gonna move me. I got thick skin. Number 9, learn from your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. And number 10, invest in yourself. Conventions happening May 23rd, 24th, 25th. The best investment you can make is making sure that you're at this convention. Second best investment is how many people are you going to bring? Write this down. For every person you bring to convention, that's an extra $100 a month to your income. You bring 10 people, that's an extra $1,000 a month. You bring 50 people, that's an extra $5,000 a month. So you can gauge. This is called preparation. You can prepare for success. Success is predictable. You guys know that, right? Success is predictable. You can predict your success by how many people you bring to this convention. If you bring 0, predict your business to be at 0. If you bring 10, predict for your business to be at 1,000 a month. If you bring 100, predict to be at 10,000 a month, because success leaves clues. Every person you bring to convention, focus, registering, convention. Massively promoting convention, right? I know we just hit the hour. Appreciate you guys. Let's go rock and roll. 10. Let's close out. Let's close out this month strong. 10 champions. I know everybody can do it. It's already done. Let's really focus on we got 7 days left. 7 days left to close out this month. 10 champions. You apply everything that we just said. Tomorrow, me and Joel are going to be doing an opportunity call at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be rocking a call. Me and him are going to be rocking a call. We're going to collect some testimonies. If you want to be on that call, let me know. We'll put you on as a testimony as well. But here, this is a call that you can have 10, 15, 20, lead 20 prospects. Do what I told you, right? You have the 9 a.m. session that's happening Thursday, right? You can use that as an exposure. Tomorrow, that's going to be happening at 9 p.m. We have a midnight trading session tomorrow as well. You guys have different methods of exposure to get people exposed to the business. Have them get started. Bang. You can go champion at the end of the month. 10 champions. That's what we want to focus on, right? Let's help you guys go champion. It's going to take out massive action. It's going to take massive action, intense focus, and being consistent to smacking champion. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And let's rock and roll.